Hey guys, Lorcan the Hedgehog here, welcome back to the Saw Reviews, and today I'm here to review the supposed final movie of the Saw series, and that is Saw 7, or also known as Saw 3D. Yep, this, this one is going to be a little tricky to talk about because it's kind of hard to really talk about this film now because with Jigsaw coming out about next week, really, by the time this review comes out. And for me, it's next week. For everyone else, it's next Friday for people who live in America and some other places until Jigsaw comes out in theaters. So, yeah, but so it's going to be hard to look back in this film now, just because, well, not hard. It's going to just make this film a bit more pointless just to be called the final chapter because Jigsaw, it's not a reboot, it's a sequel of, Saw itself. It's another sequel of the series, so this one is going to be hard to look back as the supposed final film in the Saw series. But give Saw this, it kept its word. For 5 years before Saw Legacy was the title before Jigsaw was confirmed, that film, the series did actually stay kind of dead after a while. 5 years straight, it kind of mentions of reboots and sequels were there, but it wasn't really fully confirmed by Lionsgate or Twisted Pictures until about maybe 2014 or 15 when Saw Legacy was confirmed. So, yeah, it's going to be hard to look back on this one just because of that, but let's just talk about this film anyway. So the main plot of this one is that we follow a guy who supposedly say he survived a jigsaw trap. However, he end up into a jigsaw game himself, and now he must have to find a way to survive and save his friends and call for other people related to a television set, because the main thing with him is that he has some other people to kind of fake it up. So, yeah. Supposedly Jigsaw has people related to him about that in these traps to save. But another plot evolves after the end of Saw 6, where now Chill Tuck, I keep saying nearly Chill Tucker. Chill Tuck has now told people that after all this, turns out to be Mark Hoffman who is responsible for the recent Jigsaw killings, and now that involves him trying to kill her, so she needs help from the police to keep her safe from him. And as well, we also get the return of a character from the very first Saw movie, good old Dr. Gordon. Yeah, he's come back for this one. As during the time when Saw 1 came out, there was a bit of an argument between the actor and Lionsgate because he didn't get as much money as he hoped, and he tried to sue them, but I guess the wounds healed because he's back in this movie. Yeah, it kind of feels kind of now forced, to be honest, because it really is shown to try to push this into the final Saw movie by also concluding how he survived in his story as well. And man, this one also has some stuff. Like, for one, the traps is actually very good. Like, there are a lot of good traps in this particular film. Like, out of all the films that deal with traps in the Saw series, I think this one, honestly, in my opinion, is the favorite out of all of them. The traps aren't that gory. Okay, maybe they are, but they're not as gory as, say, Saw 3 or 4, and they're honestly good traps. Sure, as the film goes on, it kind of declines a little bit from how awesome the first, I say, 3 traps look like. But there are still some very good traps. It's just a bit of a problem with this film is that, for one, there's barely any Token Bell in this one, despite this is supposed to be the final film. There's only I think only one new flashback scene involving, Token Bell as Sean Kramer in this movie. But other than that, Token Bell's really mostly voicing Billy the Puppet in this one. That's really about it, really. When it comes to him and the whole, like I said, Dr. Gordon thing, it's just forced there just to try to make this the final Saw movie by concluding him and his story. And I kind of feel like that's kind of a downer because we don't get much as Token Bell in this one. But compare it to the other Saw movies, though, I honestly do like this one more than Saw 5, 3, and 4. It's kind of not as good. I would say 2 is better than this, and then there's definitely 6 in the first one. But it's still, out of all of them, this is my 4th favorite of the series. So I like this film. It's not perfect. I know this is probably considered the lowest weighted Saw movie in the series. And yes, now looking back, all shots are just there for 3D sake. You know, because James Cameron's Avatar was big at that time, and everybody tried to, bandwagon the 3D trend. It only made them just kind of not be in James Cameron's Avatar. So yeah, there will be some points in this film where some shots look a little odd, and that's just because, it was there for 3D. Which, if you have, like, someone like me who has just a regular copy of it, you won't have any 3D effects anyway. But even I can barely tell the difference between 3D anyway. There's nothing there. Only makes the screen go darker. But despite that, I honestly do... I like this film more than, like I said, Saw 3, 4, and 5. But not as much as, say, 2, 6, and 1. So, if you want a little quick order on how I... which is my the best and the worst... The other worst, in my opinion, is Saw 4. I don't like that film. The 6th favorite in the series, in my opinion, is Saw 3. It's better than 4, but it still has a few share of problems. For the 5th favorite, I would go with Saw 5. It's way better than Saw 3 and 4. Some traps are good, I think, in that one, but it's not as good. So Saw 3D is on the number 4 on that one, because the traps are actually very good, and despite very little Token Bell and the whole Dr. Gordon bit feels a bit forced to say the conclusion of the Saw series, it's still honestly a good film in my opinion. My 3rd favorite is Saw 2. Saw 2, not as good as the first Saw movie, but it's still honestly a good sequel to the Saw series. My 2nd favorite being Saw 6. This one has a 3, and I like the whole, whole feel of it. It feels closer to Saw 1 in my opinion. And then of course, my favorite out of all of them is Saw 1. I honestly like this film a lot. The traps aren't as gory. There's a good mystery in it. Just overall, I like this film, so much. So, only one more film to go, but I haven't seen it yet, and it's not out in cinemas until next week. But I got 2 things planned before that happens. I got 2 other reviews for the Saw series to cover yet. They're not movies. Instead, they're video games. Do you want to play a game? Well, I have to. They're the only 2 games I have. One I like. Well, and just say it's decent, and the other one I don't like. So, I'll see you guys for Saw 1, the video game, for the Xbox 360. See you guys later.